Still muted. There we go. I got sound. Welcome, everybody. It's Monday night, and that can mean just one thing. It is time for the Dungeons and the Dragons. Oddly enough, however, we won't be experiencing either of those things tonight as we are in Saltmarsh, but not your friendly Greyhawkian, Gygaxian Saltmarsh. No, 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 no. We are in the Forgotten Realms still. This is Mysteries in the Dalelands. You haven't lost your mind or your channel hasn't scrambled. It's still the same game, but we've put Saltmarsh in the Dalelands. And as it stands, the party is in Saltmarsh. And I'd like to welcome you all 100 or so of you that are always here watching us. Thank you for that. Just don't step on each other while you're finding your place to sit and all of that. So welcome. I'm Wiley Hobbit. I'll be your Dungeon Master. Let's go around the horn and introduce ourselves. We'll start in the bottom right corner with Andrew playing Rouge Shahar. Yes, you, sir. You're going to introduce your character. And go.
Hello. Hi. My name is Andrew. But you don't care about me. You only want to know about Rouge Shahar, your friendly neighborhood changeling rogue / cleric, now newbie cleric, who is finding his way. Yeah.
Newbie cleric. That's right. Acolyte. Yes, sirree. And that's a cleric of the Morning Lord, right? Lathander.
Yes.
Very, very exciting. All right. Thank you very much. Viz, what's going on up there right above Andrew?
Oh, I have no idea. What? Oh, there we are. That's the camera. Right.
Yes.
I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Wilson on the social medias, to the extent that I'm busy on any of them anymore. I play Viz, well, he's a fairy. Yep. And he's a fighter. Yep. He is a word knight. So he can get real big. Stay tuned and see. Don't know how good that's going to be on sea.
All right. Let's cross the... we have a dark square tonight. Ms. Vivacia is a little under the weather, so she will not be able to join us this evening. So we will leave her window pane darkened, and we will cut straight across to one of our newer players. Last time he was the newest, but not tonight. He's the second newest. True Wolf. Vor, what's going on, man?
Oh, not too much. First, I just want to say you pronounced dozen wrong when you were talking about our viewers.
Oh, no, it's 100. Yeah.
Is it 100?
Hey, listen.
Hey,
if you add all the viewers up we've ever had, it gets close to 100.
Okay. I was just trying to keep us humble.
It's a reporting thing. Yeah, no, I lost the war with humility long ago.
But yes, my name is Rick. I play Vor Kirkson, the cleric of Cullenvor, and dabbles in sorcery. And I just joined in the last session.
What I think is really tremendous about that is you did join in the last session and you have returned. And so that's good. I'm glad you came back for the second, your next session. So we must be doing something right.
Well, I thought I'd give you a second chance.
Ah, nice. Well, I appreciate that very much. Very nice. Note to self, kill Vor. Yeah. Okay, just kidding. All right, Mateus, what's going on, my friend? Rance Rumblad.
Hey, I'm Mateus. I play Rance Rumblood, swashbuckling pirate whose blood alcohol content is such a quality that he earned the nickname Rum Blood.
Oh, is that where that came from?
Yes.
Never would have guessed.
Never would have guessed.
Didn't put that together.
Always looking to stick it in the back of Zentarim, and looking forward to playing the Greenwood version of Saltmarsh.
Yeah, the Greenwood version. Yes, sirree. All right. And that brings us to our newest smiling, shiny new face. This is Sophie, and she'll be playing Mirabella. Welcome to our game.
Hello, hello.
So tell us a little bit about Mirabella. What's not all the good things. We want to let some of that unfold, but what's Mirabella? I mean, race, class, some of that.
Well, she is a high elf. She is a combination of bard and warlock. And she likes to make friends, cough cough.
Wink,
And
wink, wink.
if she happens to hear some interesting information from those friends, well, that's just butter on her biscuit.
So much the better, as they say. Butter on her biscuit. I like her already. Bard Warlock. Did I say that was okay? Did I approve that?
Yes, you did.
Oh, goodness. Was I awake during that conversation?
Are we ever truly awake, though?
That's a fair question. So what really begs the question, is she a war bard or a bardlock?
Right now she's a war bard, but she definitely is probably going to be a bardlock. Heavy on intrigue,
Right.
light on sending people to the Nine Hells.
Right. Nice.
Or whatever.
And our newest, both in age and arrival, player to the game is Miss Katie, sitting on Dad's lap there. Little Rance Rumblood.
Oh my
Rance Rumblood.
God, so adorable.
She'll probably be in bed.
She's refusing. Yeah. She'll learn that,
So adorable.
going to bed is a good thing when you get to be my age. Hi, Katie. Yeah, she likes to, what is it? She likes to see the faces, right? Yeah. All right. So, having met all of our players, and of course, Miss Vivacia, unable to be here, she plays Ronvin, the Azamar Artificer. So, last session, the party arrived in Saltmarsh. Vor had already been here for, maybe a month, just doing a little of this, a little of that, some try to pick up work and just kind of get settled in. The party has been asked to come to Saltmarsh on behalf of the Dalelands Council. The Dalelands Council is made up of the lord from each dale, and that's the kind of the governing body of the Dalelands, which isn't really a nation. It's more of a collection of regions. Each has a seat of government, like a town, a couple thousand people. But in order for the greater good, which usually involves fending off, large masses of goblinoids or, other awful humanoids, they formed this council years and years and years and years ago. And the council has asked for a group of savvy, clever, discreet professionals to make their way to Saltmarsh and investigate rumors of some smuggling, and worse yet, now recently there have been some rumors heard around here and there that there may be some slavers at work in and around the Saltmarsh region. And let me flip to the newest overlay. Thank you very much, Miss Vivacia. We are now a 2-scene stream, and I just want to tell you how impressed with myself I am.
Oh, that is lovely.
Isn't that nice? So here's our map of the region. You see the red dot, Harrowdale Town. That's sort of the government seat of power in Harrowdale. The blue dot to the north of that, which is roughly 45, 50 miles or so, is Saltmarsh. So rather than Saltmarsh being in Greyhawk, we've dropped it in the Dalelands. And so that's where our party is. They're in Saltmarsh. The Dragon Reach is that northern arm of the Sea of Fallen Stars. So there's a little zoom out. You see Harrowdale. You see our blue dot, which is Saltmarsh. To the south of that is Scardale, which is home of Rance Rumblood. To the west, you'll see Ashabanford, Mistledale. That's where Ronvin is from. The party has most recently been based in Daggerdale, the kind of northwesterly most dale. It's not really on this particular map. But they've been asked to come to Saltmarsh at the request of the Lords of the Dales, the Daleland Council, to work their way into the community, again, discreetly. They feel like it's best if the party isn't known to be connected with the lords. There's some mistrust of the government out in this little backwater fishing village of some 2,000 souls. 5,000 souls. And so the party has just arrived. They have stumbled in and shaken off the dust, having entered the Wicker Goat, which is a nice drinking establishment. It's right inside. If you look at the kind of the southwest quadrant of the map of Saltmarsh proper, and I'll zoom it up a little bit for y'all, just because I can. You'll see the wall and the gatehouse. The Wicker Goat is, I believe, the building on the right with the orange roof on the south side of the east-west road. Across from that are kind of the barracks, sort of the guard, if you will, of Saltmarsh. But it is here that we will open our scene. The Wicker Goat is, it's a older building. Most of these buildings are older. Most of Saltmarsh was pretty well built when Saltmarsh was settled well over a century ago. The town has endured all manner of issues. There have been drow incursions down from Cormanthor when they came to the surface. That has since been kind of beaten back. There's been no end of nonsense at the hands of the Zentarum, the Black Network. Of course, weather is a thing here. Sea monsters, it's a hardy little fishing town of some 5,000 souls. It even has their very own town council. They have some militia. They have laws, all that stuff. And it's, for the most part, fairly quiet, except for the occasional brouhaha down on the docks, which happen to be the lifeblood of this salty, fish gut stinking little community, and it is rather stinky. Fishing is the thing here. But in recent years, the merchant trade has grown over the last, say, 20 years. And so not only are there fairly wealthy and successful fishing families here, and most of the folks who live in Saltmarsh work in some connection with the fishing trade, whether it be building, repairing boats, building or mending nets, all manner associated with fishing. There's even a couple of fisheries right here in town that process the catch, salt the catch, all of that. But there's been some mercantile business, shipping and trading. But most recently, a group of dwarves appeared on the scene some 3 years ago or so, and they a vein of silver had been discovered in the cliffs south of Saltmarsh, and the dwarves have been brought down with a writ from the Dalelands Council that they were to begin excavating and prospecting and seeing if this vein of silver was an actual bit of good fortune or nothing more than just a little stretch of silver. And the prospecting and the excavation and such has kind of turned into mining, and they've been here for some 3 years. And it just so happens that the Wicker Goat is the establishment that caters to the dwarves. You see the locals in Saltmarsh are a little suspicious of outsiders unless they come sailing in on a boat, which these dwarves most clearly did not. And they're concerned that the dwarves are and their success and the wealth they're starting to unearth, which has caused some attention on the sleepy little stinky fishing village of Saltmarsh. And so there's concern, consternation, and a couple of, there's kind of the local traditional, we don't want to change, we're suspicious of you, leave us alone people. And then there's the, hey, we need to turn this place into a cosmopolitan port of trade, the opening to the Dalelands that'll connect the Dalelands with greater, Faerun kind of thing going on. And it's into this little boiling cauldron of politics and intrigue that our party finds themselves enjoying an ale and a conversation with a newcomer. Less new than them, however. As I mentioned, Vor has only been in town about a month, but the Dragonborn and the party have become acquainted, and so we will start our scene. They've met, and they are conversing. It is supper time in the Wicker Goat, and I will turn this here scene over to the party as you all sit around a table. There's no fire on the hearth just yet. It's still late summer, and so the weather is still fairly mild, although you do notice a good 15-degree cooler temperatures. The prevailing wind kind of blows in off of the Dragon Reach, cooling the air on the waterfront. You see the proprietor. His name is Lankus Kurid. He comes over to the table.
Oh, yes. Will you be having dinner with us this evening, friends? I see you've had a few drinks. We appreciate your patronage. Excuse me.
Kind of wipes his hands on his flannel, sort of rough wool tunic.
Will you be joining us for dinner, by chance?
I think some dinner sounds lovely. What's good here?
Yes, well, I mean, everything is wonderful, of course. We have fresh sea trout that has been roasted nicely in a cream sauce. We have leeks and potatoes roasted as well. We have a lovely stout that's come across the Dragon Reach from Thay. They say the wizards had something to do with its brewing, but it's a thick, tasty, syrupy stout nonetheless. Some very fine Sembian wine, Cormyrian wine, and a local mead, they say, comes from the Harpers, but... And he kind of leans in and looks around. But you know as well as I do, the Harpers aren't really a thing, no, are they? He kind of looks for a reaction. So, trout and potatoes and leeks it is then, yes?
Aye, sounds yummy.
What are we drinking? We're still going with the ale, the Tilverton Gold? Or would you like to try the stout or perhaps a wine? Or water, if it pleases you.
Mead sounds good.
Yes, mead. The non-Harper mead. And he kind of winks at Viz. I do, yes. I know they're here somewhere. I've just never met one, but I'm sure you've heard the tales of the Harpers.
You can pin that on me if you wanted to.
So a mead for the wee one.
Aye, the Red Wizards of Thay be not my fancy, but their brew certainly is.
Very well. You talk like one of those sailors.
Aye, whole life, sir.
Yeah, would never have guessed that.
Never.
Yes. Var, friend. Another ale?
Please. I'll take another ale.
Yes, very good. You, sir, and he kind of looks over at Rue. What'll it be? Another ale? Would you like to try? You look like a man who the discriminating taste might enjoy a nice Sembian wine.
I had just discriminating taste. Now would I be here with this bunch?
That's a good point.
Another ale sounds good.
Tilverton Gold, yes, very well. I will bring out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he looks at Ronvin and smiles and nods. 5, okay, yes. Sea trout with the potatoes and leeks. With bread also.
That sounds
Absolutely.
Yes, very well. And again, thank you for your patronage. Of course, you must have just come in town. If you noticed, we're located nicely at the entrance to town. That was my idea.
very clever.
Yeah. Very well. Okay, well, I'll get your meals together and see your beverages will be put to the table. Shall we just run a tab then?
Sure.
Excellent.
What's his name?
Excellent.
And he stumbles off, stops and talks to a couple other tables. The place has begun to fill up a little bit. Armin, thanks for dropping in, man. Go have a good time teaching class, buddy, and give New Zealand a hug for me. It's on my bucket list someday. All right, so he goes back behind the bar and thumps his way into the kitchen. And again, the Wicker Goat is like many of the buildings you see here. Most of them are 2 stories at the most. Most are single story, but I just said most are two-story and most are single-story. Did you guys catch that? Yeah. Most are single-story. There are some two-story buildings. There is a tower kind of in the distance in town. But everything has a very weathered appearance. Even the stone is, you could tell that a lot of salt brine in the air, winds, storms, rain, everything's weathered here. Mostly whitewashed or gray washed. Nothing's really well painted. The colors are sort of dull on the buildings you can see in the distance. Seems odd a little bit that everything is fairly hilly here. As you could see, the town is on a couple, 2-3 different levels. Kind of sits. The southern half of the town sits on a cliff above the water. The dock and central town area is more down at water level. Interesting topography. Just you have the little river, the little Kingfisher River, and the swamplands to the west. Just a lot going on here with the topography, the trees, the buildings, and it could be one of a million different little seaports. And here we are. Hey, Chris, thank you for the advantages. Each of you players have just received an advantage that entitles you, for my newer players, for Vor and Mirabella. You can use that advantage on any D20 roll with the exception of death saves, because, who does that? But yeah, so if you want to roll with advantage, make sure you track your own advantages. I'm just mentally incapable of accurately doing that for everyone in the party. Let me just tell it like it is. So thanks, WikiVA, for the advantages. And now here comes KY Hawkeye with some advantages. Very nice. So pay attention to that. Looks like y'all are going to get some advantages. Okay. So he goes away to fetch your drinks. And in no time, a dwarven lad comes out with your assortment of drinks, sets them on the table very quickly, and disappears back into the back. And you see the clientele. Again, it's supper time. Numerous dwarves have come in, but there's also some humans, a couple of half elves. I would say the place is probably 3/4 full. There's probably 15 tables of various sizes here. It is a kind of a story-and-a-half dwelling, but it is not an inn. It is merely a tavern. From where you're seated, you don't see any upstairs. It's sort of a vaulted, open, kind of exposed beam arrangement as far as the interior, the ceiling. It's clean enough, muddy boot prints. Everything here smells like fish and guts and salt and swamp. It's not a very appealing to the nasal passages kind of place.
Rance is just giddy with excitement. He's just so happy. He's been inland for far too long, and all of this is just, he's just absolutely.
So everything smells normal for Rance, in other words.
Yeah, this is kind of home.
Next best thing, I think. We're not at the Scar yet. Is there a dartboard about?
Sure, absolutely. There's a dartboard. Would you like to play some darts?
Viz is going to take his. He's obviously going to get a serving of mead. He's going to take his tin cup out of his pack, scoop some out, and go and play darts.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, you're the only one at the dartboard. Give us a kind of a description of how you go about. There's like a bucket kind of tacked to the wall next to the dartboard, and there's a little slate where you could keep some sort of score, and there are darts all in that little bucket along with some chalk. And so, how are you going to play darts, Viz? And Sephiroth 1821A, welcome. Glad to have you aboard. So tell us a little bit about your dart game there, Viz.
Well, Viz is going to do something that he doesn't normally do, which is he's going to play like an utter fool, trying to hit the board, maybe getting the darts into the bucket instead of onto the board, and seeing if anyone wants to take him up on a game.
Okay.
He's basically playing the fool right now.
Got you. Got you. Okay. So after a while, a half elf lad of couldn't be more than 20 seasons comes over, dressed in reasonably fine clothing, maybe finer than one might have anticipated seeing in these parts, particularly this establishment in this here town. And he walks over. Hello there. What manner of creature are you?
I'm the same manner of creature as you, but I'm shorter and I can fly.
Well, that's interesting because you look very different from me, and, well, I don't fly. And as you so cleverly observed, I'm much taller than you, so I don't see how we might be the same manner of creature, but well met indeed. And he kind of offers a couple of fingers, to shake your hand, clearly struggling to kind of put you together here, what you're all about.
As soon as he sticks his hand out, I'm going to lean over to Rance and say, a gold piece says he gets those fingers bit.
I'll match your gold piece.
Viz will take the proffered finger and kiss them.
Oh, goodness. He draws them back quickly. Doc Shoulder, thank you for the subs, man. Wowie zowie. Thank you very much. So welcome to the Wily Hobbit family syndicated network of D&D channels and stuff, which isn't really a thing, but welcome. And by the way, Vaz, how about Vor and Mirabelle? Hopefully you saw the advantages you were given by KY Hawkeye. Thank you for that, KY.
Yes.
I did.
Oh, really? And he pulls out a kerchief from his, pockets and wipes his hand off. So, a game of the feathers then, yes?
Feathers?
Darts, that's why you're over here, correct?
Oh, darts. Right. Is that what these are?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes. Do you even know how to play?
I don't, but you're going to show me.
He kind of studies you for a minute. Well, very well. Here's what we'll do. First 1 to 20 wins. You look around the board, and there's this, you see here, and he kind of tries to move you close to the dartboard. Roll perception, Viz.
Perception. Okay. That's a solid 5.
Okay. Very nice. Yes, so, my good man, we're going to play a game of, I like to call this game cricket. It's a race to 20s. You see the pies, if you will. I'm sure that's not the term for it, but who cares? At any rate, the first person to put a dart in each of the pies, 1 to 20s, you see there are 20 of them, wins. How about that?
A race, you say?
Yes. So it will take several rounds. We could flip a coin to see who throws first. You get 3 darts per round, and then I'll throw 3 darts, and whomever completes the 20 first and then hits the bullseye, that would be the red center, very small hole in the center that I'm sure you'll struggle to hit, but that's fine. At any rate, yes, so the 20 plus a bullseye, and you could hit them in any order. You don't have to go 1 to 20. But yes, how would that be?
That sounds intriguing.
Yes, very well then. Okay, I might remind you. Oh, sorry, DM would like to remind the party, specifically Viz, at this moment, that you do have 54 plus 2s that may or may not come in handy, and I'll tell you how and why in just a moment. We're going to roll d20, so each dart throw is a d20, and you roll that. Oh, that's a 16. All right, so you've hit the 16. Oh, that's a 14. You've hit the 14, right? But you may roll the same number, but since you have plus 2s, you might use that to move your outcome to a number you haven't hit. So keep track of the numbers you hit. Okay. I'll do the same. So, would you like to? Yes, of course.
You really think Viz is actually going to play this game normally?
Oh, I'm sure he's not, but
So
Have you
here's
met him?
here's my question. As someone who is, first of all, a specialist with thrown weapons, which are darts, and two, is a sharpshooter.
okay, I'll tell you what. You
Either
may
of those give
roll
me any.
2d20. No, I'll tell you what. You're going to roll d20, but instead of a +2, you could use a +2 as a +2 or a -2. So that'll
Okay.
give you the opportunity to triangulate in on your numbers more quickly, thus conferring to you an advantage based on your excellent skill. If you roll a 20, you can use the 20 for the bullseye or for the 20. And then you would roll another 20, and then that would be whichever one you didn't take the first time. Does that make sense?
Sure. Okay.
All right, very well. My name, by the way, is Kellen Winterfield.
Fascinating.
Yes,
It is.
isn't it? My family's been in Saltmarsh for numerous generations. We're in the textiles business.
You eat fish guts?
Perhaps you've heard of us. And he kind of waits for the appropriate, clearly stunned reaction of wonder that I'm sure you're about to share with him.
Okay, fish guts. Let's go.
We are cousins with Gellin Primewater. He sits on the council. He's probably the wealthiest noble in town.
At this point, Viz just slams back the rest of the meat. I'm not getting paid enough for this, he says under his breath. Let's roll.
Yes, very well. Let's so flip a coin. I will, in fact, flip the coin. You call crowns or asses, and the odds will be crowns and the evens will be asses. You call it in the air. Here I am throwing it right now. Picture me in your mind, me throwing up the coin. Go ahead and say crowns or asses, please. Go.
Asses.
Okay, it is asses indeed. So you may choose to throw first or second.
I'll throw second.
Very well, then. Yes, of course. I'm sure that was... Yes. And he steps up and he kind of makes a big deal. He has a breast pocket where his handkerchief came from, and he looks over at you and he pulls out a little metal, very nicely engraved, like silver metal, flat. Looks like a cigarette case, and he opens it up, and there are very nice darts. Look like they're very nicely hand-fletched, carved wooden darts with very shiny metal tips, probably not inexpensive. He pulls them out, kind of gets a tip on his tongue. Well, very well then, I'll go first. And he kind of waits, and you can see some of the dwarves kind of elbowing each other and chuckling and watching as if maybe they've seen this play out before. Look at the rube that Kellen has lined up this time, kind of deal. Yes.
Before he throws, and while he's playing with his darts or whatever, Viz is going to use his the cantrip of minor illusion to make the dartboard appear just slightly askew from where it is.
Okay. Okay, he rolled an 18 perception, so you see him stop and squint. Well, that's odd. Okay, very well. Are we ready? And he kind of looks around to see whose attention he's gotten. And, the tables that are kind of around, there's probably a dozen or more dwarves. There's a table of humans are all kind of stopped what they're doing and are watching. I presume the party is also watching. Yes, well then, he makes a big show out of, preparing his, getting, yes, well, just a simple technique. And away with you. Okay.
As he's doing this, Viz is going to float off to our table and scoop some more meat out of his main serving into his camp mug and float back to the...
I say, it's not good form to be moving about in the periphery of your opponent. So please, if you don't mind, while I'm throwing. Yes.
Okay, that's new. Okay, yeah.
Gets another
As
one. He
as he's
threw the
getting
dart
ready
into the 4. So
As he's getting ready for his second shot, Viz will let out a terrific belch. which is actually kind of funny considering how small he is.
Okay, I'm going to say that a nat 1 would cause him to miss the dartboard altogether on the first try. And it, as luck would have it with your belch, he has missed the board. Well, I see this is how things are going to go then. Apparently you're not well versed in the decorum of the gentleman's game of feathers. But I'll suffer along, I suppose, to entertain you. And then he quickly sets and throws before you can distract him again. And oh shit, that's a 1. He misses the board again. Well then, just something does not seem. And he goes up there and he looks, and the board is kind of tilted, so the 20 isn't straight up like it normally would be. Oh well, see, there it is. The board was a little, occasionally the, fisticuffs and the rambunctiousness and things. Yes, well, it's settled then. Okay. Your turn. What was your name again? I'm Kellen Winterfield, as I mentioned. Yes.
Yes, I'm Viz.
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 Viz, that's it, just Viz.
That's all you're getting.
Very well. Yes, well, do your best then, Viz. And he steps back and he grabs a goblet that has a very deep burgundy-colored liquid in it, presumably one of the wines. He's at a table with a group of humans and another half-elf, all dressed rather nicely.
Cool.
Just mind you don't step over the line down there. I know that could be a challenge for those of you who don't stand on the floor.
Well, Viz will float down to the floor and then float straight back up. And in rapid bullseye style action for the movie, I forget which one that was. Was it Daredevil or... Anyway, just go with his drink and go foop, foop, foop in quick succession. So let's go. Oops, nope, that's wrong.
And again, you've got, just tell me when you use a +2 so I can kind of keep track.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a 3, a 15, and a 15. I'll use a +2 to translate one of those into a 17.
Okay, so you've closed out 3, 15, 17. You're basically 2 ahead of him already because of his misses. Yes, well, nice start. Very well done. Yes, excuse me. Out of the way then. Give me some room. And he kind of made, again, a big fuss of getting settled and his breathing. He's going through this ritual of breathing and so forth. All right, very well then. Feathers it is. And number 1. Very good. And he throws a dart into the 9. Yes, very good. Very well, yes. The 3. There we go. 3 hits. Very nice. The 12. So he's got 4, 9, 3, and 12 closed out. You are, and it is your turn, good Viz man. Yes.
Raise my mug to him. Good on you.
Raises his goblet and takes a drink and steps back, pleased with himself.
Viz will mutter under his breath, preening fool. All right. So, question, Scott.
Yes.
We're going from 1 to 20, but you've indicated that a 1 is
you do have to hit a 1, so you can keep a 1, but a 1 after that would be a fail.
Okay, so I got a 1, a 14, and a 19.
Or you could move off of that 1 with a +2.
Yeah, well, the 1, I still want to be able to hit the 1, so that's fine. And if I need to, I'll use a +2 to move up or down. So basically, I now have the 1, the 14, and the 19 in addition to the 3, the 15, and the 17.
Well, goodness. Very, very nicely done there, little one. Oh, there's no heckling from chat, pretentious half-elves. I belong at this establishment, I'll have you know. Just you save your commentary for your game on Sundays. And he steps up, hearing some shmur from the crowd. Yes, very well. I'll have you know Winterfields don't lose at feathers, nor do we cheat. Yes, very well. And with a flourish. Oh, yes, very nice. 18. Very good. Oh, another 18. Oh, drat. That doesn't help me much, does it? He kind of turns around a little awkwardly. Oh, look at that bullseye. Well, how do you do? Very nice. And he seems quite pleased now that he's gotten that bullseye out of the way. I rolled a nat 20, so I'm going to apply that to my bullseye. Very well, then. By all means, do your best. So he has 4, 9, 3, 12, 18, and bullseye. You have 3, 15, 17, 1, 14, and 19.
Okay, as they're rolled, I have a 2, a 13, and an 18. I'll take them all as is. Oh, wait a minute. No, I had the 3 already, didn't I? Nope, yeah. So we have
2, 13, 18.
2, 13, and 18.
Well, you don't seem to miss much now, do you? All right, then. I will take my turn. He just sips some of his wine, raises his glass to his friends, and they're all kind of cheering him on. Yes, very good there. Well done, Lord Winterfield. Very nice. Let's see. That's a 6. And a 2. Very good hits, both, yes. And a 5. Oh, very excellent. All 3. Needed all 3 of those. Very well. And he's very clearly good at throwing darts. No doubt about it. You may take your turn.
All right, take another slug of mead. And away we go. Okay.
I would point out that the DM does have 26 advantages. I haven't used any, but I do also have 2 disadvantages you could call upon me to use.
Okay. So
Thought I should point that out.
3. So Viz has done the unthinkable and rolled another 1. So I assume that's a miss the board thing.
Oh, drat! Shame. Well,
And
you
then
know.
I got an 18 and a 13. And, no, sorry, an 8 and a 13 rather.
So you've already hit the 13. So
But
do you
I'll
want to
use a +2 to. Can I just use the +2 to step it down 1 to a 12?
Sure. So that's a 12. Okay.
So it's 12 and an 8.
Yep. And a miss.
And a miss.
Yes, well, very nice. Excellent. I didn't think I was going to see you miss, but it turns out you're fallible after all. Yes, well. Happens to the best of us. That's a 7 that he did not have. He closes out his 17. And he thumps another one in the 6, which he already had.
Excellent.
Yes, very well. And every time, the people are kind of cheering him on. The dwarves kind of grumble as he sinks his darts in. But you notice that you've started to get a little following amongst the dwarves. They apparently don't have much use for this fellow.
Right. So I got a 3, which I'll use a +2 to convert to a 4. And a 14 and an 18, both of which I have. I'll turn the 14 into a 16.
Okay, so
+2.
That's 3 +2s you've used.
And the 18, I'll use a +2 for a 20.
20. All right. Yes, very well. Will you use that 20 as the 20 or the bullseye?
I'll use it as a 20.
Well, goodness, you're certainly the hot hand for now, but I'm sure that will be turning around quickly. All right, then. Here we go. Oh, I've already hit the 2, haven't I? Well, all right. Oh, seems I've hit the 9 as well. Oh, and I've already hit the 4. Well, that's goodness gracious. None for me, then. All right. Very well. That's your turn, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just doing a little bookkeeping here.
Oh,
keep my head straight.
You got 2 advantages from KY Hawkeye. I didn't put that
Nice.
together. Those are for the dartboard champion. Apparently that's you.
Apparently. And we got an 8. I think I've got it all. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, hell. Where am I at here?
You have 14 of them. You need a total of 21.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Sorry, bookkeeping. Oh, yeah, there we go.
You know, we didn't really wager anything. I know now is not really the proper time, but what say you? Should we make this interesting?
How interesting is interesting?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps we might wager 10 gold if you can afford it. He
10
says
gold.
rather snootfully. Snootishly? Snootily?
Okay, now I got it. Well, 10 gold, that's all?
Yes, 10 gold. Unless you wish to wager more, I'm good for it. Winterfield
sure.
and all.
Winterfield, yes. Lovely. Yeah, 10 gold's fine. Anyone
Well,
else?
then.
Any
Everyone,
other takers?
10 gold. Make sure someone, here's my 10. And he pulls a stack of coins out and sets it on one of the dwarvish tables with a bit of a snoot and a sneer.
Oh, we're putting it out already. All right.
Vor will pipe up at that point and says, I've got the little ones 10.
Oh, geez. That's very generous of you, sir. All right.
All right, it is your turn, my friend.
So it is. And okay, we got a nat 20, which we'll use for the bullseye.
Well, a 20 and then a bullseye back to back. That's impressive, little fly, whatever it is you are. I still haven't quite sorted that out yet, but...
We are related. I'm a fairy from the Feywild. You're a elf kind of thing.
I can assure you we are most definitely not related, sir. But I can see why you might perhaps wish it were the case.
I also got a 6 and a 10, so that fills me out for 3 scores there.
6 and a 10, goodness. Okay, gracious. DM will roll with advantage as the pucker tightens. Yes, time to get it done, as they say. Yes, well, very well. Wish me luck. Oh, very good, yes. Seems I have my choice. I'll take the 19. I'll burn another advantage. This seems to be working well. Another 19. Oh, but a 14. Yes, I need that very much. Yes. Okay. One more advantage for the Dungeon Master. Yes. Okay. And that is let's see, an 18 or a 7. Seems I have both of those. That would be a miss then, yes. Very well. Armin, we are set in the Forgotten Realms. Ooh, another advantage for the Dungeon Master. Very well played, sir. Thank you.
There we go.
24 for the Dungeon Master. Yes, our Salt Marsh is set in the Forgotten Realms. We're actually on the eastern coast of the Forgotten Realms, north of Harrowdale town.
All right.
Okay, little man. Little wee ferryman. The Feywild. So you've been to the Feywild.
I'm from the Feywild, bitch.
Goodness.
I'm going to use an advantage to roll that dice again because that didn't quite get the result I wanted. That's a 13, which I can down convert to an 11. So that's an 11.
Yes, an 11. And so draws ever closer. Not going exactly how I pictured it, but fun nonetheless, I suppose.
This is what you get for playing darts against someone who is an expert at throwing things, including shade.
Yes. Well, you haven't won yet, so you best finish the game.
Aren't you supposed to roll more?
Yes, I am.
Oh, now you're just showing off and doing one at a time, are you?
Yes, I am. I'm going to use an advantage to reroll that one because that's white Windows. God damn it. Sorry. I just went to the lower left corner of my screen and ended up pulling up the forecast instead of rolling a dice.
Nice. Is the forecast to your liking?
Yeah, I am going to use one of those +2s to convert that 4 to a 5. So that's the second advantage is burnt. And so that goes to there.
You're just short 2 numbers. Looks
I
like
am.
17 is one. No, you got that.
I have a 7 and a 9 that I need.
Okay.
And this will be my third dart to roll. I will use another advantage to roll again. And that doesn't do me much good. So that's a 13. So I'll just take that as a 13 and be done with it.
Yes, very well. So close, though, yes. Well played. All right, then. I'll just continue to roll, then, with advantage. Dart number 1. Oh, excellent. 15. Needed that, yes. Advantage again. Oh, let's see. That's a 1 and a 7, and I didn't need the 7. Well, drat. Oh, but I do need the 1, and I've already taken my miss. All right, and then a third advantage. 9 and a 10. Seems I did need the 10. Yes, very well. Good round for the elf. Half elf, if you will, yes.
Accounting for some people's parents.
I see. Well, certainly plenty of accounting for mine. Winterfield and all. Yes. Well, it's your turn, sir.
Oh, there we go. And there we go. Roll. That is a 5, which I will convert to a 7.
Oh, dear. Yes, one more. 9, I believe it is.
Yeah. That's what we're waiting for. So that's an 11. That is an 11, which I will down convert to a 9, and that's it. That's game.
Well,
Hey.
he kind of gets a sour look on his face and kind of looks at your darts and looks at you and seems kind of stunned, like, how can this be? Well played, Viz. Give the man his coin. He's kind of snarls at the dwarf who's been sitting there kind of rolling a couple of the gold coins across his knuckles while you've been throwing darts. And he offers his hand. A gentleman always shakes following a game of feathers.
I'll give you something even better that we do in the Feywild, and I'll fly right up to his face, grab his cheeks, and give him a big kiss on the nose.
Oh, goodness me. And he's fussing, drops his handkerchief, bends over, his dart case flips out of his, breast pocket on his kind of foppy, blousey shirt. Oh, heavens, what is that smell? My goodness, you don't do that to people you don't know. You put your lips right upon my nose. And he's dabbing.
Now we know each other.
It's like he's bitten me almost. Goodness. Well,
you know if I bit you.
Well played, Viz. I'm sure we'll do it again sometime. Very soon. And he starts putting his darts away and walks back to his table, and everybody's just, kind of almost looking like they're about to excommunicate him from whatever it is exclusive club that they seem to belong to over there. As he sits down and licks his wounds. Well, dart match. Very nice.
Friend Vor, take your money. We'll use the other 10 of that FOPS for our tab.
All right.
Well played, Viz.
While the dart match was going on, what's his name? Kurid brings out the meal with one of the dwarf servers and lays everything out. And there are very nice plates piled high with mashed potatoes, roast leeks, a nice thick slab of sea trout. Looks to be broiled with a cream sauce. Crusty white bread. On a scale of 1 to 10, this food is probably a 4 to a 5. It smells decent, probably needs seasoned, but it's definitely fresh fish. Just not fancy. Toothsome comfort food. And they set everything out.
Yes, will there be anything else for you? I'm getting rather busy here, so I need to tend to the others, if you don't mind.
Oh, not at all. Would you mind getting our friend over there who just lost badly at playing a game of darts because he doesn't know how? A nice drink on his own, and just tell him I put it on my tab.
Oh, I'm sure he will be delighted. I'll mention that to him about his dart playing also. I'm sure he will appreciate that as well.
And he kind of comes over and gives you a fairy-sized pat on the back.
He needed, yes, well done. Thank you. We all thank you.
My pleasure. Anytime.
And he makes his way behind the bar after stopping at the table, and he leans in, has some words, and you see Kellen just looks at you and like seething eyes, and his face kind of reddens a little bit, and
Just
then
give him a little
kind of nods, as well, at least I'm getting a wine out of it.
Yes, very well.
And he kind of waves back,
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
and then quickly avoids your eye contact, presumably to look away quickly enough that you don't feel it necessary to come over there. And
eventually.
the barkeep, Lankus Currid, back behind the bar, and dinner is served, friends. The din, the noise level has come up a little bit. Again, mostly looks like miners, laborers, no real piratey looking, sailor looking, fisherman looking people. Not that they look a certain way, but not to be stereotypical. But yeah, just this is a different clientele altogether. Looks to be mostly miners, laborers, maybe a tinker or two, and again, probably 80% dwarves.
A lot of dwarves around.
So as everybody's at the table eating, Voro will just kind of speak up and say, have you found lodgings in the town as of yet?
I believe we're staying upstairs.
Note to the pirate, there's no upstairs. This is a tavern only. You are aware of an establishment in town that does serve as an inn.
We got lodgings last week.
I don't recall that. I don't remember that. But it's
I remember that.
in the book. It's a tavern, though. So I may have
States of the Wicker Goat, didn't we?
I may have misplayed it as an inn, but it's not an inn. So. So to answer Vor's question, you don't have anywhere to stay just yet. Sorry about that.
We be in the market.
Well, if you're interested, there's a lovely little hostel a couple of streets over. Nice and clean. This is where I stay.
Sounds lovely.
Better than a hole in the ground, I say.
Definitely.
Better than the month of traveling that we've been doing above ground, I'd say.
Rance, you do know that the tavern in Saltmarsh, the Inn and Tavern, is the Snapping Line, which is a nautical themed fisherman's type. Yeah, there's two other taverns in town. The Empty Net, which is where the kind of the lower end rougher crowd kind of hangs out, your kind of folks, and then there's the Snapping Line, which is the not as lower end, but still catering to the fishing and sailing and merchant types, and that's the one that's the inn. So I do apologize deeply for the confusion.
Okay. After his dinner, Rance will kind of get up and he'll say, "Aye, y'all be excusing me for just a little while. I'll meet you at your hostel later. I want to go and see some old friends here in town. I have been here before."
Oh, splitting the party, are we?
Rue is going to wait for Rance to leave and then follow him out stealthily.
Ooh, stealthily. Let's have a stealth roll. Would you share with us, Rance, your passive perception?
Passive perception.
We'll go ahead and
16.
16. Ooh, pretty high passive perception. Okay. So, Rance, as you get up to leave, the door to the tavern swings open. Little smelly fish breeze blows in, kind of startling you because you were just, kind of just about to reach for the, to push the door open, and there's a figure in the doorway. What does the figure in the doorway look like to Rance, Mirabella?
So I look like, so you know how those bordello women from the Wild West looked?
Kind of the Mae West, big sort of billowy long prairie skirt.
Not a long prairie skirt, but definitely a little bit of over exaggeration on the curves and whatnot.
Roger that.
And of course I am gabbing with a random stranger.
So that's what you have kind of coming in the door, Rance, as you're exiting the door.
Rance is completely distracted. He's completely flummoxed and kind of, "Aye, pardon me, miss," and kind of hobbles out the door.
Oh, not at all, good sir. Oh, I haven't seen you before. Have you entered town recently?
Not recently, no. Hasn't been many moons since I've been here.
Oh.
Don't venture this far into town normally.
I can sympathize with that. I do confess I prefer a bit more sea breeze in my life.
Aye, truer words be never spoken, lass. Now, you excuse me. I have some thing I need to do, but I might catch you later. And
Of course.
Rance kind of bumbles out.
Bumbles, you say?
Mm-hmm.
So where we've got the map here, the Salt Marsh map. Where are you heading, Rance?
I am heading to the Mariners Guild Hall to talk to Elsie Singrid.
And the Mariners Guild Hall would be dwelling number 21. Let me consult my map here. So on the map, the Mariners Guild Hall is the north end of town. North is up. How convenient. The gray building, if you follow the road that zigzags through town, as it bears left to head up onto the plateau, there's a gray building right on that bend, on the inside of the bend. That's building 21. That is the Mariners Guild Hall. So you're going to have to walk all through Saltmarsh, eastward into town, cross the Sharkfin Bridge, and through the dock area, center of town. It's pretty lively. Once you get into the center of Saltmarsh, the lamps, the torches are lit in the lamps, and you see, pairs of town guard walking around. It's pretty much exactly the way you left it the last time you were here, however long ago that was. And so you're just any particular focus, or just kind of strolling along as you head to the Mariners Guild House?
Yeah, he's just kind of strolling along, kind of enjoying taking in the sight of the dragon reach there, and that kind of thing.
Sure. Getting a nice snootful of the salty, fishy sea air that only a guy like Rance could love. Okay.
He's not even going that fast. He's kind of just leisurely enjoying taking in the view.
Okay, very well. So let's cut for a second to Rue. We're going to come right back to you in a moment, Mirabella. Your great entrance, first ever moment in our party shall not be wasted or overlooked. How did we do, Rue, with your stealth? Like, does Rance, with his passive perception of 15, have any idea? Does he notice anything as you're slipping out?
I mean, it's really close, but I did manage to get a 20.
Okay, so you manage to kind of stay, you come up a walkway and then slip between a couple buildings and then kind of watch and use the shadows because, again, it is dark. Torchlight lights most of that's the light source at either on the front of a building or at a corner. Occasionally there's a post with a torch lit, but you're able to tail Rance as he makes his way northward through town. We will cut back to Rance and Rue momentarily. Let's go back to the Wicker Goat. As Mirabella has made her entrance, the party would probably see Rance kind of stop in the doorway and talk to a person who's not yet fully illuminated. Mirabella, give us a nice description. What do you do as you enter the Wicker Goat for the evening?
Mirabelle walks over towards the bar, arm laced within her latest patron, and she looks to the barkeep and says, "Oh, tell me, dear sir, what would you recommend for today?"
Oh, Bella, there's the usual. Symbian wine, I believe, is your favorite. In fact, a word with you about that before you leave this evening. We need to tend to your tab. But yes, Symbian wine, the typical. Yes, and for your friend.
I drag my hand across his arm and say, "Oh, I'm sure that we can settle my tab as soon as you like. And for my friend, well, whatever you have that is particularly strong."
Oh, friend. Yes, I understand now. Yes, and we will be settling, young lady, this time. But yes, perhaps a stout of the Red Wizards, the Thay stout. We just got it in. I don't know that you've had it, but it's a very potent brew. Well, let me just pour a tankard, sir. And he kind of winks at your friend. Yes, you two make yourselves comfortable. Seats at the bar, of course. You're welcome to sit here, or there's a quiet table over at the... See the wee man floating there. The table behind them is available as well. Take what you like. Good to see you, Mirabella.
A pleasure. I am utterly fascinated by the fact that there is a floating man. I don't know that I've seen one of those before, so I will definitely go and ask if I may sit with them.
Okay, here's what I'd like to do then. So, viewers, friends, fans of the show, Sophie is our newest player. Sophie's playing Mirabella, as we announced earlier. So let's do this for Sophie and Mirabella's benefit. We have Vor, Viz, Rue around the table. How about each of you give Sophie a description of your character so that she might kind of get into theater of the mind, and that would aid in her RP. And then we'll note that she's standing at the table with a sort of nondescript, is a human, your patron a human, an elf, and a half-elf, dwarf?
Most certainly a dwarf.
A dwarf, yes, very well. So, Vor, give us a nice description so Mirabella can ease into the role here. It's possible that you're muted, but you look really good.
Yes, I was muted because I had the hiccups for a few seconds there. Vor's a fairly tall dragonborn with tarnished brash-colored scales, except for the ridges around his eyes and on his throat where the scales are black. He's wearing blackened scale armor with bits of white cloth showing underneath. And beside him, leaning against his chair, he has a shield with the symbol of Kellenbor, which is the skeletal arm holding the scales, leaning against his chair.
All right, Viz.
Point of order, Rue and Rance are both out, so I assume it's just myself, Vor, and Ronvin.
Correct.
Yeah, because you had said Rue earlier.
Rue. I forgot Rue left. Sorry. Sorry. So it's you and Vor and Ronvin.
Yes, and Ronvin, yes. And so with Vor and Ronvin, who's, I guess, a fairly human-looking something. Don't know that an artificer is necessarily immediately identifiable, although she probably has a lot of interesting gewgaws and gadgets on her that make up her power armor, for example. Viz is a very short, about 18-inch tall fellow who's at the table with Vor, piling into an impossibly large piece of fish compared to the size. With an impressively large mug of something beside him. Viz is indeed a fairy. He's about 18 inches at 1.5 feet tall, very dragonfly-like wings flapping idly behind him. Armed to the teeth, it seems, these days, because I keep picking up new bits and bobs of weapons. They tend to be put off to the side because we're not at war at the moment, but there's definitely a tiny longbow, quiver of arrows sitting on the side somewhere next to a shield, and he's sporting a long sword and a rapier and a dagger at his waist. Although the long sword and the rapier are probably put aside because it's really awkward to eat with those things on. And a very colorful whip coiled at his waist. His armor is hard to describe. It's like I think originally when I started with this character, I described it as something akin to a rainbow python, which if you've ever seen a picture of a rainbow python before is just shimmering, multicolored scales. It's actually quite beautiful. And he wears it very well. It's very close to the body, and it moves quite well with his obviously lithe form. And he's just sitting there having a great old time. He's making a mess of things. He's got fish grease all over himself, probably in his hair. His hair is purple and spiky. And that's Viz.
All right, so you have Viz and Rance. Rue did pass you by, heading out the door. Rue, do you want to go ahead and give Mirabella a quick description of what she saw as you pressed your way out the door to follow Rance?
Sure. You would have seen a human man, pretty nondescript, with leather armor, in his late 20s. Also very lithe, and you may have even noticed a symbol of Lathander around his neck.
Ooh, the symbol of Lathander. All right. So, Mirabella is at the table. Carry on.
Oh, hello, gentlemen. I don't suppose I could intrude upon your company.
Lady Bella,
Ah,
join us.
Master Vor, a pleasure as always.
Indeed. This is my new friend Viz. Viz, this is Lady Mirabella.
Ah, young Master Viz, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah? I'm probably older than you are. Who's your little friend? Looks over at the dwarf.
Oh, he's, well, I wouldn't say he's little in where it counts, but he is my entertainment for the night.
Aye,
He kind of smacks you on the rump a little bit. Entertainment indeed. Yes, 'tis the right word, I believe. Well met, all of you. I'm Carl.
Carl.
Yes, Carl. It's the first
Is
thing
your
that
name Carnage by any
to
chance?
my mind. No, it's not Carnage. It's Carl with a K. Thank you. And he kind of raises his tankard as a table of dwarves recognizes him, and they start jeering and, oh yeah, friend. They kind of jeer him a little bit, and a piece of bread comes over and hits him in the head, and he's like, Shh, I'll skin you. Shut your yaps.
Oh, I do love this tavern so much. It has the most unique air I have ever met. I've ever had the grace to breathe.
Sounds like dead fish.
Well, dead fish has its uses. I see that you're eating some of it.
Yep. We establish ourselves in the food chain.
Tell me, young Master Boar, what have you gotten into?
Not too much. It's just making some new friends and keeping busy,
Mm, well,
trying to stay out of trouble.
and hardly succeeding, I take it.
There does seem to be a lot of it to get into.
Oh, indeed. Dark days, dark days. Gentlemen, I must say I don't believe I've seen the rest. I don't believe I've seen anyone besides Vor in town. May I ask why you're here?
Well, that's a good question. I'll just say we're visiting for now.
Good sir. Not many people choose to visit this place yet. Hopefully, once things become a bit more bustling, it'll be more of a destination for people to, more of a more of a, I'm sorry, I can't English today. It'll be more of a touristy spot, but as it stands, unless you're a miner or unless you're pulling fish from salt marsh, there's not much of a reason to be here.
But the mine, she's given up her secrets. In due time, there'll be plenty to talk about and do here in this little stinky fish backwater. And he raises his tankard, and any of the dwarves that could hear, that's right, Carl. And they're all slopping and slurping ale and stout all about one another. And even you notice a nod from Kellen Winterfield. Oh, yes, indeed. Things seem to be going very well here in Saltmarsh. Thanks to our diminutive, hard-working, industrious mining friends here, the dwarves, yes. And he kind of sits back. It seems that you're among friends who are all friends with each other here.
I mutter, he's a good sort, but damned it all if he isn't an insufferable little prick.
Emphasis on the little prick.
Oh well, young master, I assure you, a lady does not kiss and tell.
But it's always fun to do it. Anyway. We'll do it some other time. So, Master Dwarf, does this mean that with this new windfall of the mine, the dwarves will be spending freely and making merry and maybe even investing in the salt marsh? Or are you going to hoard it all in a dragon's den somewhere?
I know each man is free to do with what he will, but I'll be investing, yeah. Yes, I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, Manistrad has taken good care of us and seen to it that we've been successful and safe, and I plan to put down roots here, yes.
Fascinating. So you've got a good mind to work on for the next few centuries.
Indeed, yes, indeed, lad. We anticipate great riches. Silver be just the start of things.
Ah, silver. Sounds good. Any troubles up there, or are you having no problem at all?
Oh, none to speak of, eh, boys? And they all, oh, no, everything's good at the mine. Aside from the usual potential collapses and the like. But no, it seems to be going well, doesn't it, boys?
Viz will give an audible gasp and feigned shock. Collapses? A dwarven mine?
Well,
That's
not in some time, of course. It's always a danger, though. Mining is a dangerous business.
Well, there we are.
But at any rate, I'm sure the lady here is not interested in hearing about mining and collapses and dust and things. Are you, lass?
I assure you, Carl, I am most certainly interested in mining and collapsing.
Oh, lassie, now, not in front of the boys. And he turns like 3 shades of red. Yeah.
That is Lady Bella, always interested in hearing about the shafts. And you, Carl, how are you recovering from your any kind of motions towards his waist area and his accident?
Yeah, accident. Everything is well. Good vor. No problems at all. I can assure you.
Excellent. Good to hear. Good to hear.
He's kind of a little bit behind Mirabella, like,
Ixnay on the shaftnay.
Ixnay on the Eftshay.
I assure you, Sir Vor, I'm positive that my dear Carl here will have more than enough stamina for whatever job he must perform.
Aye, indeed, dwarves tougher than the stuff of the mountains.
Especially when they collapse.
Kind of coughs a little bit. Excuse me. I need to upgrade my pipe weed.
Well then, lassie, we joining these loaf-abouts, or are we onto our own business?
He kind of looks around the table.
Hey, you're welcome to join us. We're just finishing up a nice meal of fish here.
Hey, I'm up for another. My tankard is empty.
Sure.
Well, you do know me. I can't resist gossip, and having such new, interesting people in town, well, that's the juiciest gossip there is.
Well, then it's settled, lass. We've all night to conduct our business and such, so, hey, Coodred, how about a round on me, eh?
And he just, oh, yeah, very well, a round. Just kind of muttering to himself, and the dwarf kind of plops down at the table, and,
no, you know what, lassie, you sit right here. I'm going to tend to some business with me mates over here. Won't be just over there.
And he kind of pats you on the back in a just completely awkward, nice kitty, kind of awkward dude kind of way.
Is it okay if I don't know why, but I already feel suspicious about Carl, and I'm pretty sure I have no reason to be suspicious. Could I roll an insight on this guy?
Sure. You'd be more than welcome to do so. Or what's the proper? You can try. Yeah.
You can certainly try.
You can certainly try.
12.
Yeah. You've met this guy, and by that I mean loosely. This is yet another of the stock dwarves around here. He's not above a white lie or a bit of hyperbole once he gets full of ale, but he's a kindly soul who comes across a little gruff and a little awkward, and well, okay, a lot of both. But he's an okay Joe. He doesn't have a lot on the stick. He's got like an intelligence of 8, but and a wisdom of 7. but he's harmless. Yeah,
Oh,
living his best life.
oh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
So he shuffles off, and Kurid comes along. Lankus Kurid comes up with another round of drinks. Oh, here we go. Yes, and for you, mead, right? He points at Viz, and where did the other two go? He looks around for Rance and Rue. I do hope they'll return. They just got here, but here's drinks. And like Bella, don't wander off too far before the evening is over.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, very good. And he ambles back to the bar.
I love how the bartender just walks off without actually getting an answer to his question.
Yeah, you could tell with this guy, like he knows everybody. He loves his patrons. He likes what he does, but he's a little absent-minded and a little suspicious, and like, yeah, he'll start a thought or a sentence, and then he's,
This guy's good for a dine and dash.
probably yes. All right, so let's cut to Rance and Rue. Rance, you make your way through the less and less crowded streets as you get further north away from, from the docks. Were you able to locate the building you're headed to on the map?
Yep.
The Mariners Guild?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is, again, building number 21.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So you approach the Mariners Guild Hall. It's just a typical two-story salt box, 3 windows on the second floor, 3 on the first floor, an uncovered entryway, a couple stone steps up and in. It looks like it's just been beat to hell. It's closer to the coast. Looks like it has, split and warped cedar shake siding on it, something you'd see on the coast of Maine. There's even a crow's nest, like a walking area at the top, with a couple of what look to be like stands where you might mount a spyglass to look out over the Dragon Reach. And there are lights in all the windows. Looks to be just, again, exactly how you feel. Like time has not touched the stinky, sleepy town of Saltmarsh, and it looks to be exactly as you left it.
Okay, so Rance will he'll go into the building. Obviously, he's been to this building before. He knows it, and goes up to the door, tries to open the door, and go in.
It is unlocked.
All right.
Rue, what's happening as you see Rance duck into this 2-story building? What do you do? The entryway is kind of right in the center of the eastern wall that faces the coast.
How big of a building is it? Do I think it's like one room or a bunch of rooms?
It's hard telling. I mean, the upstairs, you would assume, there's a sign on it says, Mariners Guild Hall, or maybe Mariners Guild. And so immediately you assume if it's like any other guild hall you've been in, the downstairs is probably fairly wide open, maybe a couple of offices or little business spaces, and then the upstairs is probably lodgings for the local mariners who try to find work out of this establishment.
Okay, then what I think I'm going to do is just go slip into the shadows right by the couple of stone steps that lead into the building. I'm going to stay outside, but just listen intently.
Okay.
To see what I can hear.
You want to do like a hide thing? Use an action to hide in the shadows there?
Oh, yeah. You want me to roll the stealth again?
Yeah, go ahead and see if you can't get yourself, because there are some torches in sconces on the front of the building, but there are also some overgrown, unkempt shrubbery. Again, it's very gnarly. There's not a lot of green on it because it's been beat to death by the wind and the waves. Well, not the waves, but the rain. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will pull my cloak up and take advantage from my cloak of elven kind.
Yes.
give me a 25.
Yeah, so poof, you just melt into the shadows, and there you are, confident that if someone were to walk up to those shrubs and start trimming them, they wouldn't see you stashed away in there. You are nicely hidden in the shadows right beside the front door. Rance, you enter, and as you pull the door open, you feel it's almost as if the ocean comes in from behind you as a stiff breeze pulls through the building, enveloping you in the smell of dead fish and sea air. As the drafty, well-ventilated building, you look around and notice there are many windows open, and a nice breeze pulls through, and sort of the sheer curtains kind of suck into the room, and then you go to close the door, and you have to kind of push against the airflow and shut it. And you stand there and you see, maybe a half dozen, mostly human men, maybe a couple of half orcs sitting around tables. These are folks that you recognize as your people, various mariners of all sorts. You see postings on the wall, job board kind of things, wanted, excellent with sales, or an anchorman, or, expert deck swabber, or whatever. You see the postings around, and there's, they're playing cards and dice games. There are tankards of ale. There's a makeshift bar at one end, and behind that bar you see an old friend. None other than probably exactly who you expected to see, a human lady, early 30s. Her hair already graying, but it's kind of pulled back into a kind of just a gather in the back. It's not super tight. She's wearing typical kind of tunic and trouser, sailing garb, if you will, dagger at her hip. There's a cutlass hanging kind of at the end of the bar, as if to maybe be at the ready should she need to make a hasty exit around the bar. And she looks up from the book that she's tending, and a smile spreads across her face. Well, Rance Rumblood.
Aye, lass.
A sight for sore eyes indeed. Whose ship
Aye.
did you steal to get here?
I came on a horse, trying a new thing.
She kind of looks at you and cocks her head. Rance Rumblood on a horse? This I must see. Is it outside? Please mount up. I'd like to see this.
No. Carts are the way to go if you're traveling by horse.
That land ship, yes. All right.
Land ship, I like it.
Well met indeed.
Yes, my crew were about 7-8 moons back ran into those. Then he leans forward and he kind of whispers, "Those scent bastards."
Her face kind of darkens, and she looks quickly just to see if anybody kind of caught that. It's been happening.
Out of curiosity, am I
happening
hearing any of
much.
this conversation?
Roll me perception. Notice how I conveniently had the windows open.
Mm-hmm.
I try to make our game accessible to all, even the
Oh,
stealthy sneakies.
I will burn a chat advantage on this.
All right.
Burn it.
Giving me a 22.
Nice.
Yeah, you definitely heard the greeting, the female voice. The conversation got a little muffled after Rance mentioned, and you've heard his tale about the Zentarum sacking his ship. And then you just heard her voice kind of muffled reply. And she says to Rance, yes, there's still plenty of them at large doing what they do.
Rance goes into his pocket and he pulls out a small sack of maybe 40 gold, and he kind of slides it across to her.
Hi, what's this? You owe me nothing.
No, not yet, lass. And he says,
this knowing look comes across her face. What is it then?
me and me mates are be here in town, and we've got to we must find out what we need to know about all the smuggling that's been going on hereabouts.
Yes, the business.
The business, especially we would like to find out. You back in the day, you always were good at keeping my ship one step ahead of those Zent bastards.
Well, we've seen many sunsets together on the sea, and I trust you.
So
Yes. Oh, happy to help again, if I might. And she scoops the sack behind the bar very quickly, and she looks over at a table that's kind of looking in your direction, kind of doing that. Hey, mind your cards over there. Yeah. Don't worry about what's happening here. I got this scallywag. Somebody had to say scallywag. It had to be said. It's been said.
It's been said.
Okay.
We may move on now.
Yeah.
So Rance, he looks around and he waits again, and then he says, I don't want to hurt I could care less about the honest folk who work, but those less than honest folk, especially those who have, let's say, black hearts, we shall say. If I could be getting some information about that me and me crew can look into.
You got a lot of nerve coming in here talking to me like that, laddie. And she kind of steps back and looks around and watches the room. Just totally cuts you off. Hold your tongue. You'll get no work from me.
Rance
addressing me. I'm the woman of this here establishment. And you hear a couple of that have, and they kind of step up like, is there a problem? No, I got this. He's nothing I can't handle, boys. But mind you, keep an eye on this one. Okay, now. And she kind of leans back in. And she's talking to you like she's laying it on you. Mm-hmm. But she's so... She rolls to... Oh, a nat 20 deception. Good job, lady. The Zents are here. The Zents are there. It's no safer than when I thought we lost you there last year. Well... First of all, I'm happy to see you're okay. Second, it's going on here, smuggling, moving things illegally. I'm not sure who and where, but it's always been a part of the way here. But if you need some information, I'll shine my lantern a bit more and with some more intent. Let's say it that way.
I'll come back in a day or two. See what you can rustle up.
Where are you staying in town? How long you been here?
Have you seen that scaly fella? The big one. Looks like he's mother mated a dragon or some such.
She kind of smiles. Vor.
That's it. He's the guy. We're staying at his place. The hostel there.
Oh. How do you know Vor?
I had a drink with him. Fine fellow.
That's all you needed. Good old Rance Rumblood. I haven't changed a lick, I see. Well, he seems to be a good stick. I don't know him very long. He's been in here looking for a bit of work, and by all accounts, his reputation's pretty solid.
He has a bit of work for me and me crew too, but we needs be looking into unsavory actions in town as well, if you catch me meaning.
Oh, I think I know what you're meaning. So you give me a couple days, and I'll. Where are you drinking these days? And she pulls a pint out from behind the bar and a kind of a wooden cup and just kind of sloshes some rum in there for you.
No. Rance just downs it. I be at the Wicker Goat. Not my first choice, but
she cocks her head. The Wicker Goat. That's where them dwarves be hanging out. You know, they're kind of the scourge of Saltmarsh. People are afraid they're going to come in here ruining the fishing business, and of course, if you mess with the fishing, you mess with what's beneath the surface.
Let me tell you a story. About a few moons back, I was in Daggerdale, and I angered 7 dwarves. And let me tell you, this big woman came out. Don't mess with the dwarves. Lesson of the story, right there.
Oh, they're a tough lot. I'll warrant you that. I won't cross them up. But yeah, there's plenty here that say there's more to meets the eye than a bit of silver in the hills. No one knows for sure, but they come blustering in here, 2-3 years ago now, and the mine was mostly quiet, but here in recent months it seems the fishing ain't been worth a piss. But boy, the mining sure has lots of silver coming up out of the mine to the south, a few miles south of town, down toward Velarwood in the cliffs along the coast. And that silver keeps coming out of there like it has been, and things will be changing around here, and that's what's got people riled up a bit.
Aye, lass. I be not from here, so I have orders to do and jobs to keep. Let's say, new crew and all, you know.
So do you mean to sail out again then? I'd heard about your unfortunate. I thought we'd lost you. Frankly, I thought I seen an apparition when you come in the door.
You lost all but me. The Zeds killed the rest.
Aye, well, we'll have a prayer for you then tonight before we turn down. Yeah, that we will. There's a lot of good men on that boat.
Aye. So we have no boat yet, but we be a land crew so far.
Aye, well, good luck with that. I was, you know my tale. Ever since I lost Dan, been grounded myself, but it suits me. Been doing all right here. Hey, boys? No, they kind of raise their mugs. Work is still plentiful. That's one thing I will say. The mine's been good for the sailing business. A lot more trade coming in. They're fixing up a new big dock here. They're going to build another one real soon. That's been good for the trade business. But they call themselves the keepers, the locals. They don't want any part of a new dock. But I'm afraid things are changing here. Whether the keepers like it or not, things are changing. So mind your tone, who you're talking to.
I'll mind me step. Lass, I best be getting back to the rest of me crew. This be information I want to pass on to them. So you can catch me either at the Wicker Goat or with me friend Vor.
Well, you won't see me darken the doorway of the goat, but I know how to get you up there, so. It's good to see you. And she comes around the bar and gives you a big hug, claps you on the back.
Yep. He heartily embraces her, and then he, in a very, platonic friendship kind of way.
Yeah.
And
you can see hanging behind on the wall where she's got this bar, and the bar is probably only about 12 feet long. There's 6 stools. And it looks like the bar was built and set on that spot. It's not like a true bar with a bar back and all of that. And behind that is the ship's flag from her and Dan when they used to sail. And, he was killed, fell overboard some 5 years ago, and that's what drove her inland. But she still keeps the flag nice.
So Rance will then, exit the building and head back to the goat.
Okay. Rue, I'm going to say that you heard most of that. Anytime she pulled him in, muffled, you just kind of, that's kind of what you heard. Mm-hmm. But most of that conversation was pretty audible, especially with the 22 perception. And as you're trying to kind of collect your thoughts, all of a sudden the door blows open and out comes Rance. Rance, you make your way back to the goat. Is that where you're headed? Okay. Go ahead, Rue.
As soon as he comes out, I'm just gonna immediately fall in right next to him, without saying anything or trying to hide.
Umberly's umbrella. What are you doing?
what? What is an umbrella?
Umberly, ain't that the name of one of the gods of the sea or something, some such? Me, my interest in religion is small.
Same.
As a sailor, Rance would know that Umberly is one of
Yeah.
the gods prayed
Yeah.
to by sailors for safe passage.
The Wave
that's what-
Mother.
That's what I thought. Yeah. That's,
Also goes by the Bitch Queen and Queen of the Depths.
Yep. That's
Worshipped
that's,
out of fear,
that's
not
right.
adoration. Yes.
That's right. I thought that's right.
Umberly's umbrella. Unless you're in the
As
UK, then
for-
it's Umberly's Bumbershoot, you know.
So, laddie,
As for what I'm doing, Rue just kind of shrugs, just watching your stern.
It's good you got me back. And Rance asks then, how much of my conversation did you hear?
Enough to get the gist.
Back in the day, she used to keep me and me crew one step ahead of the Zents. So she'll have some info on the smuggling in the region, help us to fulfill Lord Cormail's orders to investigate the smuggling.
Definitely seems like a good person to have on our side.
So that we can't be sitting and drinking all the time now. Sometimes we actually have to heave ho.
So
Never
you
thought I
guys-
would have heard those words come from your mouth.
You guys make your way back to the goat right as you're talking. Yeah, so you can wander in, and before too much longer, I'd say they were gone an hour. Mirabella and Viz and Vor, you see Rance and Rue return.
Oh dear, I believe that's the gentleman I bumped into as I came in. I do hope he's all right.
Rance comes and his face lights up, and then he's also flustered and blushes a little bit, and comes and sits down and says, "Aye, lassie, you're here with me crew."
Oh, I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were the captain of this crew.
Aye, not the captain, but they be me crewmates nonetheless.
I understand that quite well. And yes, you must admit your crew is probably the most interesting thing in this town right now.
Aye, and you should have seen the wee one with the darts.
Oh, really? How was he at Feathers?
Oh, he knows. He can put it where it counts.
Oh,
He,
really?
He put Sir Kellen in his place.
And you would know that Kellen is a fine hand with the feathers.
So I look over to Viz and I go, I didn't think it was possible for you to rise any higher in my esteem. But if you manage to embarrass that twit, well, you're definitely a fine man.
Which one? There's a twit?
Yes, the elven twit.
Okay. I know there's a half elven twit over there.
Oh
He was
yes,
fun.
oh yes. He's a fun sort, but I swear, if he had his nose any higher in the air, he wouldn't be able to smell the fish.
Maybe that's what he's trying for.
Perhaps.
He has some nice darts, though.
Well, he is a dab hand at it, so I expect that he got a custom set so he could game a little better.
Didn't help him.
All right, so as the evening wears into a little bit later evening, and the beverages flow, Kurid has been over a couple of times to top off drinks. Let's go ahead and take a quick 5-minute stretcho. We're going to run probably another hour or so with our session tonight, but let's do a quick 5-minute bio break. It's 9:30, so we'll bounce back in at 9:35. So those of you hanging out in chat, please don't go away. We will be right back. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you super duper shortly. All right, friends,
Here
we're
comes
back.
the
We are
sun.
bioed. We're stretched.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
I just ran a 5K. It's not true. At any rate, we are in the Wicker Goat. Still, as a matter of fact, we've been hanging out here a long time. So, our party is seated around the table. Rance has just begun the process of gathering intel. Take it away, party, as Rance and Rue have just returned from their little quick side trip to the Mariners Guildhouse.
Rance looks over at everybody. He looks over at Mirabella, looks back at everybody, and says, ye be excusing me pardon for leaving ye for a second. I had to go and see to some of our work for while we're here.
Really? Well, in the time you were gone, your water has gotten warm.
Water?
Yeah, whatever that stuff is in the mug there.
Don't be drinking water. You want to get parasites? Ugh, you gotta drink something that's sanitary. Beer.
Well, I assumed the
rum.
beer's like water for you, considering how much rum you drink.
Ah, true story.
And almost as if summoned with purpose, to the table comes Lankus Kurid with another round of a mead for the fairy, an ale for Rue, another glass of Sembian wine for the lady, a tankard of the Thay stout for the pirate, a mead for Ronvin, and an ale for Vor.
Here you are. Is there anything else I can get for you this evening? So good to see everyone. Getting acquainted. Did not know you all knew one another, but it's good to see.
Oh, yes. I do believe you were talking about me needing to pay my tab.
Yes, we do need to transact that business, young lady.
And he kind of gets this fatherly sort of, like he's, putting the heat on you.
It's good of you to remind old Kurid.
Well, I do know how your memory stutters sometimes.
Yes,
Don't worry, it comes to us all.
My line of work, it's an occupational hazard.
And he pulls a pint out of somewhere in the inside of his shirt that he's sewn a pocket to keep his pint. And he takes off of his belt that's clipped there a little tin cup, and he pours himself a little double shot. And
yes, so I do hope you've brought coin this time.
I throw up a very full purse and I say, "Why, my good sir, I'll have you know that business is good."
he kind of blushes a little bit.
Well, that is good news indeed, at least for those of us to whom you are owing a debt.
And he
Indeed.
snatches the purse from your hand and kind of opens it and smiles.
This should do nicely. Consider your tab clear. Thank you, young lady.
Thank you, good sir.
You've made an old man very happy.
Will I still be seeing you tonight?
Oh, what's that? I'll be right there. Yes. Oh, do excuse me. I need to. Yes. Right away. Sorry. I'm just fire in the kitchen. Yes. Yeah.
He kind of mutters to himself, and 3 shades of crimson.
Oh,
What little
dear.
blood that he has left in the system that's not completely liquefied runs through his face as he blushes and exits your table.
I swear, every dwarf in this town, it's like they've never seen an elf flirt.
I figured they all got a rash and took off.
Oh yes, it's a very specific rash. It for some reason only happens around me. I suppose they must be allergic.
That's nasty. They should get that looked at.
Well, I offered to look at it, but as you can see, they won't accept.
Oh, well, their loss, I guess.
Fair women be bearded, lassie.
Ah, but you assume that I don't have a beard somewhere stowed away.
He just kind of.
We could go all kinds of places with that, but
The being that it's a weeknight, some of the dwarves have begun to settle up with Kurid at the bar and make their way out. Vor, you know in particular that Copperlocks does not suffer fools and drunkards and dwarves who are late to the mines in the morning.
Rance looks over at Vor. And as the dwarves start to clear out, he looks over at Vor. Can you be telling us any more about the work you proposed, or is that something we need to talk about on a later date?
Well, we'll find out more about that tomorrow when we meet Monastrad Copperlocks. She will explain more about what the work is she has. She'd asked me to find some people to join me in some work, and if you're willing, I will take you there tomorrow. And
Lassie, you in for a bit of work that doesn't involve breeches?
Well, I suppose I will have to do some dishonest. Nani? Oh, sure. I was hitting a thing. Can y'all still hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. Well, I suppose a woman can't always make honest coin, so. Well, I suppose I'll join you.
The more the merrier.
All right,
or
so
with dwarves around, the more the hairier.
the tap room slowly empties out. You're one of the last few tables left. It's only probably 11, 12 o'clock, but again, it's a weeknight, a work night, if you will. The fish get up early. Of course, this crew here isn't going to be doing much fishing, but they're all going to be doing some pretty hard labor in the morning. So basically, you have the table of nobles, if you will, which include His Excellency Kellen Winterfield and company. And you have Kurid working, cleaning, tidying up. It looks like maybe he's sent his dwarf young lads, the servers, home. And it's begun to quiet down a little bit in the Wicker Goat.
Rance looks around at everybody and says, "Aye, perhaps it be time to hit the hay. We don't want to be too hungover when we meet with Mirabella in the morning." Not Mirabella. What's
Manstrad.
Man, I've had too many of these fey contraptions.
So, will we be seeing you again? I know I'll see
Or again, Kurid comes over. And again, this guy's got to be early 50s, human, bearded, definitely very weathered and seasoned, probably spent some time on the water.
Well, will I be seeing all of you again soon, I hope? I know I'll see Miss Mirabella and Vor, but the newcomers, you are welcome. You seem to fit in nicely here. Not everyone does.
yes, like us, these fine people will be joining me and doing some work for Monastrad.
Oh, is that right? Well, I wish you well. She drives her teams hard, but she pays well, and she's fair and honest. But she suffers no fools.
He kind of looks over at Rance and kind of nods.
I, I and I and I'll try not to do the same thing I did last time I was in this establishment.
You see him like he's doing math.
Ah, yes, I appreciate that very much. I remember you now. It's been a while.
I
Don't eat the rug.
Don't you normally should be at the empty net with the rest of your friends, yes?
trying out a new crew these days.
Good for you. I think you've made a nice adjustment, course correction, as they say.
Aye, sir.
A new tack. Yes. I see a tack. It's sailing.
I see what you did there.
Yes, well, very good then. All right, well, feel free to stay as long as you like, but
He kind of looks around.
seems the working crowd has left us with just, well, us. Yes.
The half elf is up and gone already, has he?
Yeah, they're getting heading up to the bar to clear their tab, and Lankus makes his way over to intercept them and collect their coin.
How tipsy do they look?
They're laughing and having a good time, but nobody's falling down. They're gentlemen, and they know how to hold their liquor. So nobody there looks like they're hammered. But I mean, they've been sitting, drinking, talking and laughing all evening. So one only knows.
One only knows. All right. Thanks.
So Rance gets up and looks over at Vor and says, "Aye, shall you lead us to the place where we be staying at?"
Yes. It's not too far.
I'm assuming
Vora.
Vor. We never really nailed this down as to the precise locale of your where you're staying. But looking at our
I
map,
think you just said that it was a couple blocks.
yeah, the house in town. Let me consult my map here. I feel like you're probably going to be in that southern half. The bay right there where all the docks are around that little inlet. You're going to be on the southern side of that, where the residences are spread out a little bit. So if you were to leave the goat, which is building number 3 with the red roof, you could cut down that lane to the south and follow it around. You pass a really large, nice home. It's all stone, sits right on the cliff. A couple of homes across the street. There's a house that's set way back. Looks kind of like used to be a house, but it's been added on to, and there's a couple of small outbuildings, and it says Copper Locks on the placard. Vor, you know that to be the mining company headquarters. You continue on, and there's that tower I was telling you about on the left side of that road, and as you get around the bend, it's actually the last house on the left. As you can see, that road kind of goes all the way up, off into the north. It's that last house on the left. It's just a big residence, kind of a Airbnb or hostel, if you will. It's been, a former manor home that overlooks the sea. It's very nice, clean, not particularly opulent or fancy, but it's quite clean. The rooms are nice sized. You do know that there are 8 rooms in the place, and you're currently the only occupant, save the owner. The owner's name is Raymond Guyot. That is French. And you come in the door. Mr. Vor, it is good to see you. I see you've brought friends, hopefully more patrons for the the rooms.
Yes, they'll be needing a place to stay. And I
Okay.
recommended your establishment.
Very nice. Was this place to stay arrangements, my friends? Was this include breakfast in the morning?
I
Sure.
believe so.
Tis a room with the hot water for the washing and the breakfast in the morning. It's 1 gold per evening. Do you have mounts who need tended to, or are you on foot?
We have a cart, don't we?
A cart with pepper.
Oh, that's right, you do, don't you?
They said last week at the Wicker Gate they were going to take care of them for us.
That's right. The place that's only a tavern, not an inn, but can apparently take care of horses and carts. Yes, we'll go with that. So we'll assume Pepper is stabled nicely at the goat.
Yep.
Very well, then. We'll take a payment up front. You have your choice of the rooms. 4 of the rooms face east to the sea. The other 4 face to the back, the fields and the trees. It's very relaxing here. We're the last house on the lane.
I'll be taking a one by the sea.
Of course, monsieur. Very nice. If I could just have you please sign your names in the registry. And he pulls out a little ledger. And I will collect your gold pieces for your lodgings, and I will leave you alone. And I plan to retire for the evening if you don't need anything else.
Rance writes his name in and flicks him a gold coin.
Very well. Thank you, Sir Rance.
I'll go ahead and sign in and pay.
Very well. Thank you, sir. Mr. Rue, is it?
I signed in as Rushar.
Very nice. Rue, where I come from, that means street. Shahar means urchin. So, Mr. Street Urchin, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Sure.
Yes. You don't seem like an urchin to me, just a bit of misfortune. Yes. Very well. Mr. Vor, you brought us funny people. Very nice. You a fairy, yes?
Been known to be one, yeah.
That's very nice to meet you. I have not seen your kind in some time. Certainly none from here. Are you up from Cormanthor, the great forest to the north here? Is that where you crossed?
No.
No, very well. It's none of my business. I just thought I would inquire.
Oh, Dagger Falls.
Oh, Dagger Falls, yes. All the way across the dales, yes.
Yes.
Comeril, right? How is he?
Yeah, cornmeal's pretty good.
He kind of cocks his head. No, Comeril. Lord
Cornmeal.
Comeril. From Comil.
Yeah.
To the south. Noble. Seats on the council.
That's the same one. Lord Cornmeal.
Who is this Cornmeal? Mill. How do you say?
But it's the same dude you're talking about.
Comeril. Comeril.
Um,
Yes, well, anyway. Dagger Falls. A bit rustic, but very nice. A mint tea place there, yes. The inn. Yeah, very nice.
Mint wine, too.
Yes, indeed. I think that's all of you, right? He takes Ronvin's money, and it seems everyone is set. Oh, Miss Mirabella. You'll be
Oh,
needing
Miss
lodgings
Shira.
for the entire evening, or just for a short period of time?
Oh no! I figure I shall take the entire evening this
Oh,
time.
I see. Very nice. Taking the night off. Wonderful. And then
Do
like
we actually have the fart catcher dwarf?
you see this light bulb go off, and he looks at Vor, and he looks at Rance, and he looks at Rue, and he looks at Viz, and then he looks at Ron. You're not working this evening, I take it.
I wink and then I sign my name in the ledger.
Oh, goodness. Well, I hope you will enjoy your stay. I will serve breakfast about 30 minutes after the sun rises.
Aye, much obliged. Thank ye.
Yes. Merci.
Daffy, get your head out of that bag.
Sleep well. And he disappears back into the, back, leaving you all. There's a stairway. Vor, all the rooms are on the upstairs, the second level. He lives in the back half of the front level. The back half of the lower level, sorry. The back half of the front level. Like, what is that? It's a pocket dimension. The front half of the front is this kind of waiting area, to check in. I don't know what you want to call that. And then a small sort of a parlor where tea and breakfast and wine, cheese. Not a proper dining room, but again, there's only 8 rooms here, so.
Or we'll lead everybody upstairs so they can go to their rooms.
Very well.
Yee.
Bids them good night, tells them we'll see them in the morning.
As you all, each of you gets into your room, you find in there a small table, like a writing table, a chair to sit at the writing table. Then there's also a comfy rocking chair near the window. There's one window in your room. The back half of the house, the windows open up on what looks to be kind of a small orchard and a lawn. The front of the house, the room's open over the cliff, facing the water. There's a nice kind of a double bed, and then there's a what looks to be a raised kind of a square, but it's hollowed out, and it looks like it's a shaft. Oh boy, shaft. And one at a time, as you're in your room, you hear this little kind of squeaking and rubbing sound, and a platform rises to the top of that shaft. And on it is a steaming hot basin of water and a couple of nice little like hand towels you could use to wash your face. And one at a time, in each of your rooms, this Vor, this to be typical evening customary practice. He supplies everybody with a bit of a basin for bathing and some clean towels. He's got some kind of a dumbwaiter contraption that he's got into each room. And as that platform with the bowl, the basin of hot water, it like seals, so that's not like he can peep or anything like that. It's just a very clever way of getting you some bath water.
Cool. I like it.
Rance will splash water on his face and pass out.
How big's the bowl?
You could probably bathe in it, Fizz.
That's the idea.
Yeah, it's a good sized bowl. Yeah.
Viz is gonna have a bath.
Rue, I presume you take a room on the front of the house so that you might greet the sun in the morning coming up in the east?
No, I think he's going to try to sneak out before sunrise and find a place outside.
Nice. Okay. So, Rance, you're going to splash a little water on your face. Viz going to have a flat-out bath. Mirabella, what you got in store for the rest of your quiet evening?
I'm going to take one of those hot towels, and I'm just going to plop it on my face, and I'm going to trance out.
Nice.
I am a woman of simple pleasures when I am not on the job.
You're a woman of simple pleasures when you're a woman, when you're not a woman of not simple pleasure. Okay, so.
What?
Yes, trancing. Very good. Vor?
Else, gosh.
Yeah, that didn't. I had a thing in my head. It was going to come out and it was going to be clever. And
Sounded
I
like it hurt.
feel like I'm getting a call from HR at some point. Yeah. Vor, what do
Not
you
quite in
got?
that one. It was more of a 2, but
Yeah. Yeah. Like I tripped up the stairs kind of a thing there. I got it. We're good. Everything's fine. All right, so quiet falls upon the house. Anybody wishing to roll perception may do so.
Sure, my perception score.
Flat 10 for me.
18.
I finally got below a 20. I got an 18.
Boy, Preston's new dice have been good for you tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody with a 18 and up, if ever you've
19 for us.
19, nice. Okay. Vor, how'd you do, bud?
8.
Yeah. So you and Viz are like gone, or just oblivious.
Excuse you.
But,
Stop trying to eat my house keys.
But Mirabella and Rance and Rue, if any of you have ever seen, like, what's that movie, Saving Private Ryan? Remember
Yeah.
the scenes when they're in the small town, and they're kind of getting ready for the German Panzer tanks to advance, and they're going to defend that bridge, and somebody's playing French music, and it's echoing through. It's a tune like that. It's a French love song, and you hear the dusky baritone voice of Raymond Guyot humming downstairs. One of those kind of old French romantic tunes.
Oh.
And so the end of your evening has finally come. And morning is a thing. But before the sun comes up, apparently Rue has a plan. So let's cut to Rue's room. What is your plan, street urchin?
I'm just going to try to wake up before the sun rises and head out and try to find a good spot to watch the sunrise.
Yeah, so as good fortune has it, again, was everybody able to kind of track where the house is on the map? I wish I had a way to indicate it with a pointer, but it's in that southern tier that's raised. If you follow the road all the way across the bottom and then up, it's that last house on the left. Well, looky there. It's right on the cliff. So, Rue, you could just amble up the road northward, maybe set your back against a tree trunk, face the cliff, and wait for the magic.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. And as the sun is rising, I will go through the prayers that I've been given.
Okay. Yeah, so I believe Constable Zal had written down a couple of prayers for you to the Morning Lord, and it is this is your first sunrise over the water, which you've probably never seen in your life because you've only witnessed sunsets over the water from your time in Neverwinter, which, if everyone knows their Faerunian geography, is on the western side of the continent, so you've never seen the sun come up over the water. But the first golden misty streaks in the far, far eastern horizon begin to come across the sky. And as there's a nice map. The blue dot for our viewers is where our party is located in Saltmarsh. So you're looking across the Dragon Reach. Blue dot to the next red dot beneath it, for reckoning's sake, is about 50 miles. So you obviously cannot see across. Too misty. But yes, the fingers of the dawn begin to creep above the eastern horizon, and you're greeted with a breathtaking, kind of a life-changing moment as you make your real first attempt at connecting with your new deity, Lathander.
Yeah, he has been getting up, by the way, every morning on the road, but obviously not nearly as good of a view as this.
Yeah, and you're not, you don't have the camp and the snoring of the ferry, and the gas of the pirate, and the little squeaks and noises that Penny Swoops makes while Ronvin's asleep. It's your first real moment of peace since your time with Zal and your confession. And you find yourself much more readily available to the warmth and the calm that steals over you as you begin to recite your prayers, and it occurs to you you're able to work through your prayers this morning without looking at your prayer card. It seems that they have come to you. And nothing, incredibly mystical happens. A bush doesn't burst into flames. A pillar of salt doesn't appear anywhere near you. But this peace and warmth that you've not felt in quite some time, you do get a nice 30, 45 minutes of just real focused you and the sunrise. And it's the first time you can really feel like you've made a connection through your prayer. And it probably surprises you a bit that you're able to recite the simple prayers to Lathander without using your card. Like you had your card out and everything, and you went to look at it, and you kind of found yourself starting your prayer ritual, and before you knew it, you were through your prayers and you hadn't even looked at your card.
After he finishes the ones that he got from Zal, he's gonna go digging around in his pack and pull out a piece of paper that he stashed in there a long time ago, and it also has the prayer from the woman paladin
Tiffin.
Tiffin. Thank you. I knew it was a T. And he's also going to recite that one just because he's enjoying this.
Yeah. It's peaceful, and you just get a sense of belonging, some warmth, not only the actual physical warmth as the sun begins to crest the horizon, but there's something a little different. And it seems to agree with you. And you might even find it a little disconcerting because you've been a skeptic. You've been at odds with this notion of faith most of your life, and you've had a bit of suspicion. These charlatans who claim some connection with a otherworldly being. But you find yourself like you are aware you're experiencing something. And then it occurs to you you're experiencing hunger, and the words of Chemin Guyot come back to you. I will serve breakfast 30 minutes after the sun rises. And you realize you're probably missing breakfast.
Yeah, I will head in and find some food.
I would definitely like to save some breakfast for our missing compadre.
Very well. So do all of you kind of rise at dawn and kind of splash a little water and head down?
Yep.
Excellent. All right. So you see he has laid out dried meats and cheeses, some early fall apples, some pears. The cheeses are all hard, with the exception of one that's in a bit of crockery, and it's very spreadable. There's a little bit of stank to it. Looks like there might even be a little bit of some sort of rindy mold or something upon it. Yes, you should enjoy this camembert. It is very nice on the bread, with a bit of tea or coffee. But good morning, friends. I trust you slept well.
Rance is groggy.
And he walks about laying out the breakfast, humming the same song that you heard him humming last evening through the thin walls of the dwelling. I just really wanted to say camembert. Is the reason I have this cheese for you. So, what does the day bring? Will you be returning this evening for further lodging, or are you in town just this day?
Viz will distractedly say, "Yeah, we're probably going to be around." Viz is really trying to figure out bread, cheese, and how to get coffee on it as well, because he did say it went together.
Oh, Master Viz, I suggest that you dip the bread and cheese in the coffee.
That seems like a bit much. But okay. The whole thing goes in.
He dunks it.
Like Jordan.
All right, so you set about having your breakfast. Hey, puppy. It's a stream doggy. So what's the plan, friends?
After breakfast, head out to find out about this job.
Okay, back to the goat. Vor,
Yep.
you know that would be the place to catch Monastrad unless she takes her lunch there, unless you wanted to make for the mining headquarters proper and try to catch her there, see if you can get an audience with her at the miners headquarters.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna take them before lunch. Catch her before she goes.
Okay. Yep. Well, she starts her day with the sun, so by the time you finish breakfast, you're confident she's already got half a pot of coffee down the hatch, and she's barking orders and counting the beans, as it were. So you're going to lead the team to the miners' headquarters?
Yep.
All right.
She's much more agreeable if you don't interrupt her while she's eating.
So you make your way back along the road, follow it southward, take a right, just follow it along, and dwelling number 5 on the map, the one that's set back up against that cliff, that plateau that's above it, that's the mining company headquarters. It's a mansion that's been sort of converted to a business location. Again, as you can see on the property, there are a couple of outbuildings. The doors are thrown open on one of the outbuildings. In there, you see all manner of mining equipment, carts, axes, helmets, picks. Everything's kind of dirty and dusty. There are a number of horses out front. By the look of the horse tracks around back, there's probably some sort of tack and harness stable operation in the back. But it's a 2-story sprawling estate that is pretty well nicely kept. The shrubbery and everything is nicely maintained. It's a bit of a mess from lots and lots of boot tracks, horse and cart and wagon tracks. So you can tell this is a pretty darn busy place. There are a couple of wagons pulled up front. There's kind of a wide veranda. You can very easily go right up on the porch and walk in and see what's shaking.
Master Vor, I do believe this is your wheelhouse, so to speak. What do you suggest that we do?
Oh, Vor will go in and he'll go to stop one of the dwarves and ask them to inform Manistrad that he's there with guests.
Hey, Master Vor, will do. Good to see you. And the place is crawling with folks there. It looks like some of them are maybe bringing in material that's been excavated from the mine. Some of them are like working on repairs out in the yard. You can hear you can smell the coal fire and hear the tink tink, the hammer anvil of the smithy in the back. There's smoke coming out of a couple of the chimneys. It's kind of got that manor house where there's a chimney on each end. Both are billowing smoke in the morning. And he leads you in. And the downstairs, you can see you've entered sort of a foyer, and it's open to the back. And it looks like straight back that it's been kind of built in like an office with windows. And you can see what appears to be a very important looking female dwarf, rather slender for a dwarf. Very nice, long, ginger colored, coppery mane that's all pulled back and kind of knotted in a thick, twisted braid that falls across her shoulder on one side. She's wearing leather armor. Oh, man. Got a dry tickle just right there. And it looks like she's seated at a large desk She has a quill. You can see a couple of scales. There's some equipment stacked in her office. The door is closed. And then you look to either side and you see smaller offices, and it looks like clerks busy counting, weighing, keeping books. You know, it looks like a business office. And this guy kind of leads you in, and he kind of raps on the door, and she looks up with this scowl on her face and looks around, and then she sees it's Vor, and her look kind of softens, like, you know, instead of scowling, her face goes kind of blank, and she nods and kind of waves you in, and he pulls the door open, and she goes back to her ledger and awaits your entry.
Vor will walk up, greets Manistrad.
Yeah. Good to see you. Have a seat. Who have you brought with you? What do you need? Busy morning. Do you need coffee?
No. You had said you had a job you needed me to do, and that I would need help to do it.
Oh,
These are the people that are going to help me.
These are the people, eh? Well, let me see. She kind of leans back. Manistrad Copperlocks. Doesn't even bother to stand. I manage the mine. It's a pleasure to meet you, I think. I guess that'll be determined. And she kind of scowls when she sees Mirabella, like, in a way that she's curious what kind of help you'll provide. You know, I mean, she can see that Rue might be handy with a blade, or maybe he's counts things or something. And Vor, she already knows, is a good worker, and she smells the smell of a sailor from, 30 paces with Rance. And she just looks over Mirabella with the familiar, like she's seen you. And then she looks at Viz. You there, you little one. You're one of them fairies, ain't you?
Oh, you're brilliant. You there. You must be one of them dwarves, ain't you?
I like this one. Got some sass. Well, if it's work you need. Let's see. And she starts leafing through some papers. Well. Yes, I think I have just the thing. We opened up a tunnel down in the mine about a week ago.
Let's see that. Stop trying to eat my dice.
And it stinks. Stinks bad.
Like in Salt Marsh, everything stinks bad.
No. Makes this stinking fish town smell like a bouquet of lilacs. No, this is nasty bad, lizard bad.
So, just to be clear, this is not a pocket of methane you're sending us into.
No.
That would be a guess.
Vor, did you bring these people in to work or entertain me?
I don't see why they can't do both.
Well,
Master Vor.
both remain to be seen. But I like the sass out of the little one. I'll tell you what. This tunnel we opened up, we're having second thoughts. We've got her blocked away, but there's a stench coming out of there that I don't trust, and I've only smelled one thing that smelled like this stench. You all ever heard of a trog? She kind of looks at you and very intently studies your reaction.
Would I have heard of a trog? What?
Or, well, troglodyte.
Would Rance have found?
Why don't
troglodytes?
everybody go ahead and give me an intelligence roll, and I'm gonna say Viz probably gonna have a -4 on his roll, but I would say we're gonna add 3 to Mirabella's roll. The rest of you are gonna do a straight intelligence plus whatever mod you have for your intelligence.
Dirty 20.
I'll go ahead and I'll use one of my advantages for this one. Taffy, if you eat my dice, I swear to
Oh,
God.
yeah, that's a crime punishable by no treats.
Nat 20.
Okay, so a 20 is really good.
Same.
Plus 3 plus your int. Wow. How'd you do, Rue?
22.
17.
Yeah, Rue, you're kind of like trog. Viz, how did you do?
I did spectacularly. I rolled a natural 1. Plus 1 is 2. Minus 4 is -2.
Okay, so you have no idea. Mirabella, Rance, and Vor, you all immediately, when she says troglodyte, you know that troglodytes are these underground, warlike, savage, horribly stinky, greasy, grimy, nasty, like lizardy, clawed things that live pretty comfortable at home in the Underdark, but really anywhere underground, dungeony. You know that there is no stench like that of a troglodyte. They mark their territories in scat or the blood of their foes, or perhaps their own blood. They're warlike, they're vicious, they're nasty, and they're usually don't hang around by themselves. They hang out in numbers. Yeah, seems like we got into a trog den of some sort by the smell. We could use some help there. Yeah. You
We've killed worse things than that.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. They're nasty. They're not, they could be killed, but I don't know how many there are, and I don't know what all is down there. Frankly, they're kind of in the way of progress, although I don't really know how many of my boys want to go digging around in a trog den after they've been exterminated, but that's the long and the short of it. That would be the most urgent need right there, is this troglodyte infestation, and frankly, they got to be coming up somewhere when they hunt, so somebody around here is probably going to be pretty happy we get rid of them as well.
Aye, so you'd be looking for qualified eviction personnel.
Now you're picking up what I'm putting down there, sailor. Let's say we'll give you 20 gold each to head on down there, and we'll give the group of you 5 gold pieces for every troglodyte
Stop it.
you kill.
Stop it. Stop it.
And I'll tell you what you're going to do. You need to collect some of their, it's nasty, but some of their secretions. So for every vial if you could fill a vial off of each dead trog, I'll give you 5 gold per vial.
So,
Certainly sounds vile.
I hear they make good spell components.
So, just to be clear, are we talking about blood, spit, bile, or, and I cough and blush delicately,
This is
other
this is
things?
the stuff that stinks real bad. That's oil on their skin. They're scaly and it just kind of oozes out. You won't have any trouble finding it, but you fill a vial for each one of them trogs you kill, and I'll give you 5 gold per vial. And I'll send you on your way with 20 in your pocket. Any funeral expenses are going to be your own responsibility, however.
Aye, that's very generous of you. We'll take the deal.
At some point, I really should find a company that has life insurance.
Not around here, you won't, lassie. So that's settled. I can have my boys show you the way.
Aye, we'll make out there at once.
So, all right. And she writes out a simple contract, and it's 20 gold for each of you to be collected upon departure. And then for each vial of trog secretion you bring back,
she'll pay 5 gold. And each vial would basically be filled from one trog. So that's kind of your proof of the kill. I don't want you bringing any part of the animal beasties back. It's bad enough we're going to have these vials. Mind you, get the
Really?
stoppers on tight.
Really? I thought I was just going to bring you a bunch of their severed private parts.
No. None of that. You got a twisted sister with you here, boys.
Hey, I won't kink shame.
All right, so it's settled. Tell you what, you show up at the mine. Vor, you know where it is? It's about 3 miles south of town along the shoreline. There's a road that runs that way. I'll have my boys take you down there, and we'll say a prayer for you. But you look like you can handle it.
Probably. No prayers needed.
You do okay with this, and you prove yourselves. Vor, you're already on my list, but the rest of you prove yourselves worthy, and there may be more work for you. We're too busy with the mining stuff, and there's always extra things, caravans needing tended, and all manner of dangers down there that we don't have the manpower to contend with. So I thank you. And she finally stands up and offers. And she's got calluses on her calluses. You could tell this is a person who's worked in the mines. She's not some sort of a bureaucratic figurehead. She's all about it. Very serious. Looks you, each of you dead in the eye as she gives you an iron-fisted handshake. Again, she's got her hair all pulled back, braided. She stands. She's in full leathers. There's a hammer at her side that looks quite nice. And there's also a short sword kind of leaned against the wall behind her desk. Looks like a lady of action for sure. Wastes no words. Here,
Right.
take this contract. You go out there, over there to the right, and take this to Kelvar. He'll cash you out with your gold. You can be on your way. He'll make you a copy of that contract. You keep a copy, you leave a copy there. Make sure one of you signs it. Vor, why don't you be the signer on this one, huh?
All right. He'll take the contract from her, nod to her, and head out.
Okay, so you can just go back out of her office. Hey, close that door, and good luck. And she goes back to whatever she was doing, almost as if she hadn't even met you. And she sent you in the direction when you leave the office, facing, back out the front door. If you go to the right, there's some clerks, and Kelvar is over there among them, and you can get cashed out and get your copy of your contract.
Vor will go and deal with that.
Okay.
While Vor is dealing with the contract, Rue is going to settle up next to Mirabelle and just say, "Are you any good in a fight?"
My dear sir, one thing that you will learn is that when you're in my line of work, it is always best to be able to defend yourself. I can handle myself well enough.
Fair enough.
Rance
Just leaves it at that.
Rance goes up to Rue. I've got the scars to prove it, sir.
Now, that first scar was the accident. The rest of them you know very well that you deserved.
You earned them. You hear her voice through the door. And she kind of bangs on her desk with that hammer. Hey! Forgot to mention something.
Oh dear.
She kind of impatiently Hello? Waves you back.
I'll go ahead and I'll sidle up into the office.
Yes. Mind you don't touch any of the metals you see in the walls. Them's ours. Them veins of silver. That's why they were delving in there, and they got through a wall and must have picked into the den of these things while they were elsewhere. So mind you leave the metal in the wall, but whatever else you find in there is yours. And you might want to look for the way they've been getting out to the surface, because they will, Trogs will raid and kill. So mind you look into that as well.
Of course. Would there be any way of collapsing the tunnel that they're
No.
absconding from?
No, we're gonna have to clean that out and excavate that silver out of there. So just kill them nasty things and whatever else is in there. And when you come back with your vials, just let me know how it goes, and we'll settle up on the vials.
Of course.
Okay then. Be safe.
Whee!
Close that door if you don't mind.
I mage hand the door closed.
Oh, nice. Remember Christmas Vacation?
No.
When Clark Griswold he goes to take the Christmas present to his boss. His boss is sitting all the way down at that long table. And Griswold sticks his head in there. Remember, he works for this company. He's making that cereal varnish, crunch enhancer. And he sticks his head in, and he's like, yeah, Mr. What the heck was the boss's name? Would be? And the guy, he's on the phone. He looks up and he goes, oh, it's you. How you doing there, Griswold? And he kind of mumbles some name. And he goes, oh, my wife and I just, toss it over there with the others. And then he looks at the guy, and Clark looks at him, and he picks up his phone. And he goes, well, I'm on a call. And then he yells at the phone, hey, get me somebody. And when I'm waiting, get me somebody else. Like, that's kind of how her Nobody's Christmas Vacation. Damn.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
Well, now you're going to have to check it out. Yeah.
Yep.
That's Monastrad Copperlocks. Yeah. Okay. So it seems you have yourselves a job. You've been in town less than 24 hours. The newest of the group now, Vor and Mirabella, have been here for a while, but the party has begun to set up shop, which is conveniently also the name of our episode, setting up shop. So well done. It's 10:35. It's about time to call this little shindig a wrap. Once again, super thrilled with our two newest players. Sophie and Rick, not so much with the ones that have been here a while, but the new ones are going to carry us, I can see. Yeah, just kidding. So yeah, let's go around and do some quick outros. Next session will be 2 weeks, and when we come back, you're going to maybe grab a bite to eat and then head down to the mine and see about this apparent troglodyte infestation. I mean, how hard can that be? So let's.
Who doesn't love a good infestation?
Yes, always. Let's go, ladies first. Mirabella, Sophie. Any outro you want to give? Like, where else can we find you on the interwebs plying your trade? Okay, playing D&D. See what I did there?
Unfortunately, this is the only place where you can find me plying my trade. So.
Okay.
Whee!
Well, we're glad you're here with us. Yeah, and thanks for introducing us to your furry friends.
Oh, you'll be seeing them often.
Nice. All right, very good. Let's go straight up. Due up from Mirabella. Rants.
Hey, I'm Mateus. You can find me on Twitter, PR Mateus, though I don't do much there. You can also find me on Greycast with the DM here. Apparently, we dropped an episode today, and we realized it during the break. So
that's pretty funny.
We dropped our interview with David Leonard. Welcome to Raddick. So if you're interested in Greyhawk War, go take a look at that.
Yeah, and
don't worry, the Celtics are going to win this series.
The Welcome to Raddick thing is kind of cool because the Sunday game that we run on Wiley Habit channel is being played in Raddick, so that's pretty cool. So check that out, and I dropped the Greycast info in chat. And yes, Mateus and I are so on top of our own podcast that we didn't realize we dropped an episode today. the marketing department was asleep at the wheel. So, all right, Vor, Rick, where can the world find you when you're not doing this?
Right here in the basement. No.
Fair
I'm
enough.
on social. It's TrueWolf140. Not overly active, but if you want to follow someone who's not going to fill up your timeline, then that's probably the person to follow.
There you go. And you can see socials tags there on the nameplates. Notice the highly technical rotation of the character name and then the socials. See, I did that myself. So anybody that wants to clap now would be a perfect time to do that. Yes. Thank you for golf clap. Yes. Okay. Hey, Wilson. Interesting note. I walked out on the bio break into the living room and my wife was watching a movie and I turned to look at the television. What did I see? But a nasty-looking volleyball with a bloody handprint. Pff, she's watching Castaway, and then, hey, Wilson, is it coincidental? Divine? Let you be the judge. Where can we find you, Dave?
Usually at home. Well, I am here every Monday night. I'm on Scott's delightful Discord channel that you should join. Or server rather, because it is a fantastic place to be and a really good community of fellow gamers that are curated by Scott, and he'll take pretty much anyone, let's be honest.
We will.
But do join. I'm sure there's a link there somewhere. Oh, there it is. And in general, I've sort of gone inactive on Twitter for a while. My social medias have sort of been ignored for the time being just to preserve my sanity these times. But you can find me if you look for me with the moniker that you see, Hey Wilson. And I'm Dave. And that's all I've got.
Got you. Okay, last but certainly not least, the street urchin himself, Rue Shahar.
Hey everyone, my name is Andrew, also known as Fellowship of the Tables. Not on Twitter anymore, but you can find me on Discord or occasionally on Twitch.
All right. That leaves me, right? Wiley Hobbit, I'm your DM. We do play every other Monday, 7:30 p.m. Right here. That's Eastern time, and then we play on the second Sunday, the fourth Sunday, and the lucky event of a 5-Sunday month. We play on the fifth Sunday, and that is our Greyhawk game, Secrets of the Flaness, set in Ratic. We're currently playing Forge of Fury, a classic D&D module, I believe originally written for 3rd edition, maybe 3.5. And the party is they've just kind of gotten into the actual published adventure from The Hook. So that's cool. They just arrived in Blazing Dell, and so that's going to be exciting. Next session on Sunday. So thanks for hanging out. We're going to go ahead and raid a kind of a newer friend of mine, Darling Creepshow. Looks like she's got something going on her channel. I don't know. She's live, so we're going to go raid her. But thanks for hanging out. Welcome to Sophie and Rick. I think y'all are going to fit in just fine. I love Mirabella and Vor, and of course, y'all already know I'm a huge fan of our existing characters. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks on this here particular game. So thanks for hanging out.